Okay, today we're having our Intro to Bugs, Lesson 1. When you hear the word bug, what do you think of? Some people might think about a slimy worm in the garden, while others might be transported back to the weekend they went camping and got 100 mosquito bites. Some people might envision a beautiful butterfly flitting from flower to flower. The word bug has so many meanings. You might have been told to stop bugging another kid at some point in your life, or that you have a stomach bug when you feel sick. You may have even seen a car that is called a bug. During this event, we are going to learn about the cars that are called bugs, or how to irritate your big brother or little sister. We are going to learn about animals that belong to several different families in taxonomy that are considered creepy crawlies. For our purpose, we will use the term bugs to include all sorts of creepy crawlies, including insects, acronids, worms, and many more. A lot of the creatures we call bugs have mouths with the ability to pierce or to suck. Mosquitoes pierce your skin to suck out your blood when they bite. Butterflies have straw-like mouths to suck nectar. And assassin bugs use their piercing and sucking to kill and eat other bugs. But not all bugs have this ability. These amazing creatures range in size from microscopic to relatively large and can be found in every habitat in the world. Some synonyms for bugs are creepy crawlies, mini beasts, or insects, although not all bugs are insects. For the next few weeks, we are going on an adventure to habitats all over the world to find bugs in their natural environments. Let's dive in to find out all about the different kinds of bugs God created.
Insects. How do you identify what kind of animal you are looking at? If you see an animal or aren't sure if it's a dog or a cat, how would you tell? Although, you can likely tell the difference between most dogs and cats with a quick glance. If you are unsure, you could look at their eyes. A cat's pupil is oval-shaped. A dog's pupil is round. Each group of creatures in taxonomy has its own characteristics. Insects are no different. Insects belong to two different classes. Both classes have similar bodies. There are more insects than any other kind of animal on the planet. Insects have an exoskeleton, which is a skeleton made of chitin that is on the outside of their body, and bodies with more than one segment, called a thorax. They also have legs that have joints, usually 3 sets of legs, an abdomen, and many have wings. Like all living beings, insects have a life cycle. The life cycle of most insects begins with one egg. These eggs have many unique adaptations that allow the fertilized egg to survive extreme conditions like drought and freezing temperatures. Some insects bite their way out of their eggs, or they may escape by using pressure to pop the egg open. Some larvae even have sharp appendages that help them cut open the egg. Different types of insects have different types of larvae. There are caterpillars, grubs, maggots, and other types of larvae that all have different features. As many insects grow, they molt their exoskeleton to allow their bodies to grow bigger. After several molts, the insects undergo metamorphosis, a change from larvae to a pupae, finally emerging as winged adult insects. Butterflies, moths, beetles, ants, wasps, and bees all undergo this transformation before they are ready to reproduce. True bugs are a classification of insects that have very specific traits. The mouth part on an insect that is responsible for its sucking action is called the proboscis. Many insects have one of these specialized straws, but some bugs, like butterflies or bees, can roll their straw up to get it out of the way. A true bug has a stiff straw that does not roll up. Some true bugs are water bugs, bed bugs, cicadas, and aphids. These bugs do not go through a full metamorphosis like you learned about earlier. They hatch from their eggs as nymphs rather than larvae. A nymph is just a tin-sized bug that looks like it will when it's fully grown. Taxonomists are very specific when they organize bugs to understand which bug belongs to which order and family. To be classified as a true bug, it has to have all the correct characteristics. A fun fact is the Antarctic midge is an insect that is native to Antarctica. It spends most of the year frozen. It revives and reproduces when the warmer temperatures come again. They mostly live under snow, where it is much warmer than the air in Antarctica.
Acronyds. When you think of spiders, does the thought make you marvel and wonder or squirm in your chair? Acronyds are a group of bugs that also have exoskeletons like insects. You might be surprised to know that there are more than just spiders in this group. Daddy longlegs, mites, ticks, and even scorpions belong to this diverse group of creepy crawlies. Although many people don't like acronyds and some of them are poisonous, to many people they are a fascinating group of bugs. Acronyds vary in size. They can be small as a mite that measures no more than 0.003 inch or 0.08 mm, or as big as a massive scorpion that can be 8 inches long. The largest tarantula has legs that can span 12 inches. Just like insects have many different features that make them unique, acronyds can look different too. They can have short legs, long legs, or even hairy legs, and bodies of many different shapes and colors so you can tell what species they are. While their appearances can vary, they have many similarities between them. Most of the acronyds are predatory, meaning they hunt for their food rather than eating plant matter. Many of them use their piercing mouths like a needle to inject digestive juice into their prey before sucking out what the digestive juices have liquefied. These bugs generally have 4 sets of legs and a segmented abdomen. Many acronyds have 2 different parts of their body, the celothorax and the abdomen. Ticks, mites, and daddy longlegs do not have these distinct parts. Many acronyds have other sets of appendages as well. Pedioplaps help the acronyds sense what they are touching and sometimes helps crush or cut food. Calyptra are found close to the acronyd's mouth and are often designed for injecting venom, as well as holding on or crushing their prey. The life cycle of acronyds are as diverse as the bugs themselves. While some acronyds carry their eggs with them attached to their abdomen, many acronid species deposit their eggs and move on without a thought to what happens with the young when the young hatch. Some species remain with their eggs to ensure their safety or even make a cocoon-like sac for the eggs to reside in, but they do not care for the young once they hatch. In the world of acronyds, scorpion mothers should get the award for Mother of the Year because of how involved they are. Scorpion mothers carry the fertilized eggs inside her body, and the young scorpions are born alive. When they are born, they are carried on their mother's back until their first molt, and then they are independent. Acronids like ticks and mites only have 3 pairs of legs when they hatch. As they grow, all acronids molt. Some species have their first molt while they are still in the egg, and others can molt as many as 10 times before they are full grown. A fun fact is mites and ticks have different life cycles other than acronids. Not only do they have just 3 sets of legs when they are born, but they also have more than one stage to go through before emerging as adults. Some can even reproduce without fertilized eggs.
Worms. You've learned about many bugs who protect themselves with a hard outer exoskeletons. But what about squishy bugs? Many are the larval stages of insects are considered worms. Centipedes and millipedes are often mistakenly classified as worms. Slugs are as well. Most bugs neatly fall into one of the categories we've already talked about today, but some creepy crawlies exist outside of these labels. There are many kinds of worms in the world today. Leeches, earthworms, pinworms, roundworms, flatworms are all examples of worms you may have heard of. Worms live in every ecosystem. Oceans, freshwater ponds, lakes, and the ground are all inhabited by these creatures. Many even live as parasites in human or animal bodies. The life cycle of a worm is hard to generalize. Often worms lay eggs that must be fertilized by another worm. However, some species of worms have the ability to fertilize their own eggs, and some even reproduce by division. Worms can be tiny creatures no bigger than 0.04 inch, 1 mm, or they can grow to be over 100 feet long. Many worms are necessary for the health of the soil or our ecosystems. Some have been used for medical purposes, while others can cause disease and difficulty. The great diversity of worms in the world today make for an interesting study. When God created the world, He created a multitude of creepy crawly bugs. A lot of these animals are tiny and go unnoticed by the world around them, yet they play a crucial role. These bugs are often found getting rid of waste, pollinating plants for food, and providing nutrition for animals just higher on the food chain than they are. Some people in certain cultures even eat bugs as part of their regular diet. Without bugs, our world would be a very different place. In fact, for every human being on the planet, there are over 1 billion, some estimates put it as higher than 1.4 billion insects. That's a lot of bugs. There is so much to explore about these amazing critters.
Is that it?